Key thing is to focus on every bit of details which you can get for this project. You can't assume that everything will work fine because Jira is stable and it works for other clients. The good testing, end-to-end with coverage of 100% of cases, is a must. Without this, you can't be sure that everything will go simply and smoothly. Why I'm saying so? In our case, we assume that 100,000 of attachments in the testing phase was okay. And on the million, when we reach million first, we get the crash. Then that's the proof. If you have a million attachment in production, please test it on million one. You will be sure that it will run smoothly. Yeah, the data model or security model in our case is a complex stuff. You can assume that you can have about 40,000 roles per one client to be enforced for Jira. You can't just simply move this model into Jira because it will kill the performance and throughput. You have to or downgrade the security model to 100 or 50 roles, or enforce other security checks in the workflow. Without this, it's impossible to ensure that each user will only see what is intended to see. For example, if you have a credit card data in the ticket, you can assume that most of users using the full text search will be able to find the credit card number, because it's just easy as writing Amex credit card number, and it will give you all of the tickets which will consist and include the right value. You can't go too granular with security. Too granular means you can't enforce security check on each activity in the workflow. Let's assume that your workflow starts with a ticket acceptance and opening by a service guy. You can't just check every information detail which are on the form to be sure that this user is granted to see that. You have to assume that when he starts the activity, all of data scope which are on the form are intended to be seen by him. And then fine grade is the best fit for a purpose. If you will deal with financial data, for sure you have to apply the security checks in specific phases. If not, if there are generic data or not applying to GDPR regulation, then you can have more grained or big granular security applied to activities, not to single bits of the form data. I can give an example of our service desk. We are servicing our tickets for around 50 clients. 50 clients like Coca-Cola, Syngenta, they are the big ones. And when the load is coming with the ticket request, you have to define who should serve this ticket. We are operating globally in Australia, New Zealand, China or US, and then there has to be some human or a machine which will redirect these tickets to appropriate team or person. My role right now is to adapt the machine learning to be able to say, by the context of this ticket and message, you can direct this ticket to right person. For example, if that's the sentence saying, I have a problem with my payment, you have to take the semantic of the phrase and understand that this thing about the payment and redirect the payments to appropriate team. That's not only the context, but for example, location. If a ticket is coming from China, probably assumption for your machine learning thing is to redirect to Chinese team to be served in the right geographical location. You can say it's easy to done by rules. As long as they are explicit saying that I am from China, I am asking about payment, it's nice. But if this message is lying from Far East or a different location that you are placed, then you don't know that this is China or maybe some other location by just simple rule. Machine learning can tell you that, analyzing the context and semantic of a sentence. And that's one of the usage which you can adapt machine learning into Jira to redirect the tickets to appropriate service guys.